Hello everyone and welcome to the next session of ArthaPoint CUET MA English. Today in this session we will be continuing our past year question series and we will be discussing a certain number of questions that hold importance to your CUET examination. Let us quickly start the first question. How many languages are there in the 8th schedule of Constitution of India? Let us see the options. Option 1 is 20, second 23, third is 22, and fourth is 24. So the Constitution of India and the 8th schedule of Constitution of India holds 22 languages. So the right answer is option 3, 22. One thing that you must know is the fact that out of these 22 languages, 14 languages were essentially present in the 8th schedule. Let us quickly look at the 22 languages that are given here. So these are Assamese, Bengali, Gujarati, Hindi, Kannada, Kashmiri, and so on and so forth. So all the 22 languages have been mentioned here. One more thing that you must know is the fact that Sindhi language was added in 1964 and Konkani, Manipuri and Nepali were included in 1992 and Bodo, Dogri, Mithali and Santhali were added in 2004. So you could be separately asked this question as to when was the latest addition made to the 8th section or 8th schedule of Constitution of India and which 4 languages were the latest addition. So these are certain key facts that you must know. Let us move on. You taught me language and my prophet aunt. Is I know how to curse, the red plague rid you. For learning me your language, who is the speaker? Usually these questions are asked in the CUET examination to identify the speaker. In order to identify the speaker, we must know from where the excerpt is taken from and what is the title of the book, who is the speaker, what is the context it has been spoken in. Right. Now, in case, even if you do not know who exactly is the speaker, but if you know who the writer is and what is the plot of the drama or the story or the poetry, anything. So it will become very easy for you to identify the speaker. Therefore, it is very eminent for you to know the plot. So this particular dialogue is taken from The Tempest, which is a play by Shakespeare, which was written sometime in 1610 or 11. Right. Now, for those who must have read this play, it would become easy for them to identify as to who spoke it. Either it's Prospero, Caliban, Ariel, or Sycorax. But for those who don't know, we would quickly summarize the story and then we would see who said the dialogue. So this play, The Tempest, it takes place the majority chunk of the play takes place in an island that has no name. With no name, we see protagonist Prospero living on this island with his daughter Miranda. Prospero is initially shown to us as a magician, right? But slowly and steadily, we get to know that Prospero was essentially the Duke of Milan. He had to leave his dukedom with his daughter and had to move to the island, right? Now, why did this happen? This happened because of his brother, Antonio, who, with the help of army of Naples, attacked him and therefore he had to abandon his dukeship, right? This is the basic plot that happens and what happened to Prospero. Now, While leaving his kingdom, he had a faithful servant called Gonzalo who provided him certain books which he read, and therefore he became a magician. Now, Tempest is a place full of murder, it's full of mysteries, full of witches. So we see a lot of mystical characters throughout the play. And they are usually Prospero's servants. So, for example, we have an airy creature who is again a servant of Prospero, known as Ariel. Another, we have a half monster, half man sort of creature who is known as Caliban. So Prospero has developed his own army of witches, own army of monsters at this island. Right. Now, it has been 12 years that Prospero and his daughter Miranda are living here in this deserted island. And after 12 years, he finally gets a chance to take revenge on his brother Antonio and the people that he thinks that he probably holds account. So the people he holds accountable for this whole treason, right? So we see a ship with the following characters. We have Antonio on that ship. We have Alonso, the king of Naples. We have Alonso's son Ferdinand. We have Alonso's brother Sebastian. We have two another people, Stefano and Trinculo. Trinculo is a jester, so he's wearing clothes like a jester. And then we also see Stefano. Now, with help of Ariel, Prospero creates a havoc on the sea. They are unable to control their ship. And eventually, with help of Ariel, Prospero divides the ship into two halves, and all these people fall on different parts of the island. So we also have Gonzalo here, right? So let us take this as an island. So on one part of the island falls Ferdinand. On another part of the island falls Stefano and Trinculo. And on the third part of the island falls Antonio, Gonzalo, the faithful servant. You must remember, I just told you that there was a faithful servant that provided him books. You have Alonso, king of Naples, and you have Sebastian, his brother. After they fall on different parts of the island, Prospero wears his invisible cloak, and with Ariel, both of them start playing certain mysterious tricks. They start plotting certain revenges, small revenges on all of them. Now that once you read the play, you would get more into it, and you would be taking and we would be deeply studying the play once we read Shakespeare's work, right? Now, it is here that Stefano and Trinculo, they meet Caliban. Caliban is half monster and half man, right? Caliban hates himself, but he hates Prospero more. He feels as if Prospero took over his island and made him his servant. So he despises Prospero, and Caliban, with help of Stefano and Trinculo, who already by this time are drunk enough, he plans to kill Prospero. Right. So this particular dialogue, that is, you taught me language and my profit on, is I know how to curse, the Red Plague rid you for learning me your language. This particular dialogue is spoken by Caliban. Right. What is the context of it? Caliban feels as if he has been deprived of what he really was because of Prospero, and and Prospero feels that Caliban is extremely ungrateful to his master because he taught him the language. For both Prospero and his daughter Miranda, language plays a major role because it is a form of education. But Caliban feels that this education for him is of no use because eventually he has become a slave, a servant. And Caliban also tries to rape Miranda, right? So Caliban feels extremely as if he is in possession of a tyrant. However, Prospero feels the opposite. Prospero feels as if he was someone who has enlightened Caliban, who has provided him the basic education, the basic language that he should have learned. So that is the whole context of this dialogue. So I would ask you all to go through this play or at least go through the summary of this play because it's better if you go through the character analysis, the plot analysis, because it would give you more insight into this play. And believe me, it is a very exciting, a very interesting read, right? So I request you all to go through this play. Let us move on to the next question. So this is a small summary. So you could take a snip of it if you want. Right, let us move ahead. Which one of the following word is suitable for Arnold's description? Worldly wise men, captain of industry, busy in trade and commerce. So it is Matthew Arnold, Culture and Anarchy. So the particular line has been taken from Matthew Arnold's Culture and Anarchy. Matthew Arnold was a literary figure who was present in the Victorian age. So he was the one who defined the three classes. Now, what were these three classes? The three classes were the barbarians, the Philistines, and the populace. So again, if you see the question, it says, which one of the following word is suitable for Arnold's description? Worldly wise men, captain of industry, busy in trade. Now, the barbarians were the aristocrats. So as described in his text, aristocrats were people who led a high life, who had their own morals. So this basically represents the high class. They do as they want, right? The second class is the Philistine, that is the middle class. So this particular line is said with respect to the Philistines. These were basic shopkeepers because it was an era of shopkeepers. They were the people who were basically who basically were bringing an economic boom to the whole nation. They were the people who ran the industry and they were basic pillar of the society. They were hardworking, right? And for them, it is said that worldly wise men, captains of industry, busy in business and trade and commerce. The third that we have is the populace. So who are the populace people? They are the working class. So they are poor people, the basic working class who helped develop basic industry, who are, say, wage earners, daily wage earners, and they are slowly and steadily becoming politically enlightened and are craving more for education, right? So this is the basic version of what were the three classes that were described in Arnest culture and anarchy. Let us quickly move on to the next question. Which of the following rasa is not suggested in Natya Shastra? So Natya Shastra consists of 8 rasas. Let us quickly look at them. So you have Shringhara, that is love, beauty. You have Hasya, that is laughter or comedy. You have Veer, that is courage. You have Karuna, that is sorrow. You have Bibhasta, that is disgust. You have Bhayankar, that is terror. You have Raudra, that is anger. And lastly, you have Adbhut, that is wonder. So these are the 8 rasas that are given by Natya Shastra. So let us look at the options. Karuna is there because it means sorrow. Raudra is there, which means anger. Bhayanaka is there, which means terror. Santa is the one rasa that is not suggested by Natya Shastra. However, at some places you would find that instead of 8 rasas, they might have given that there are 9 rasas given in the Natya Shastra, and last one is Shanta, that is peace. But essentially, there are only 8 rasas present in the Natya Shastra. So this question could be quite confusing, but you should follow what is given essentially in the text and not any other additions that have been made to the text, right? Let us move on. Next is, with this, we come to an end to today's session. You could subscribe the channel for more such videos. I would be back with another set of questions tomorrow. We will be discussing all these topics that we have just seen in the question, be it literary criticism, be it novels, be it the ages in literature, one by one in the upcoming session. For a solved answer key, you can contact us at 83686-63950. Also, if you have any query regarding the existing questions that we are solving or any other question regarding the MA English CUET paper, you can write down in the comment section below and I would love to answer these questions.